Spuds MacKenzie was a character in a Bud Light beer campaign from 1987 until 1989. Thank you for your suggestion.
There he is. What a happening dude.
There's a super party animal. Yeah. His name is Spuds MacKenzie. A barbecue inside. A barbecue. And a cold Bud Light. A cold Bud Light. Puts him in a party frenzy.
He's Spuds MacKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go, Spuds, go! Go, Spuds, go!
Go, Spuds, go!
Spuds, you really cooking that.
All right.
Contrary to public belief, Spuds MacKenzie was in fact a female dog. Her real name was Honey Tree Evil Eye, whose owners were Jackie and Stanley Olays, who called her Evie. Evie's demeanor was unusually calm for her breed, and she behaved more like a lap cat than a rough and tumble terrier. Her breeder told the Bull Terrier Club of Dallas that she was very mellow and low-key. The owners sometimes used a yo-yo in the ring to get her to spark up and show. She was known to lounge about and munch on raisin checks, which were hand-fed to her. Relaxed and undemanding, Evie was the perfect candidate for TV. Honey Tree Evil Eye was bred to be a show dog, and the Olays joined Chicago's first Dearborn Bull Terrier Club and coached her for competition. Evie performed relatively well within her breed, but never placed at Silverwood, America's premier Bull Terrier event. The Spuds MacKenzie mascot and campaign was the idea of a 23-year-old art director named John Moore. At the time, he was working at Needham, Harper & Steers, a Chicago advertising agency. At a show in Chicago, the ad agency was scouting for a dog-centered campaign, and the splotch over Evie's left eye made her stand out. She was invited to a photo shoot, and soon posters of her as Spuds MacKenzie, sitting behind a goblet of Bud Light wearing a Delta Omicron Gamma fraternity sweatshirt, began to pop up on college campuses. The premise? Cool dog is cool, proved so popular that wholesalers demanded Anheuser-Busch put Spuds on television. The ad campaign was aimed at beer drinkers ages 21 to 34. Spuds MacKenzie was dubbed the original party animal, and that women adored. The fictional dog made his debut in a Bud Light beer commercial during the 1987 Super Bowl, wearing a white tuxedo and strutting across the dance floor. Spuds appeared in a series of commercials and became a marketing sensation. The premise of every ad, once Spuds arrived, the party could really begin. Robin Leach, famous for Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, provides the voiceover, which hammers home the fact that not only is Spuds a cool party dude, but he's also obscenely wealthy. The reaction to the original 1987 ad was enthusiastic, and what followed was a full-on marketing assault and nationwide in-joke that acknowledged, dismissed, winked at, and embraced nearly every advertising cliché. The key to the campaign's success was the fact that they never acknowledged that Spuds was a dog. They would insist he was a man. The first question that would always be given was, "What kind of dog is Spuds?" To which they replied, "He's not a dog, he's an executive." As Spuds grew in popularity, so did the beer. According to the New York Times, Spuds helped increase Bud Light's sales by 20% between 1987 and 1988. Since that commercial, his popularity soared nationally and spawned a growth industry of t-shirts and other Spuds paraphernalia. Posters of the Ayatollah Partiola, in which he appeared surrounded by beautiful young women, was the best-selling pinup in the country. He beat Max Headroom 5-1 in the estimate of the Leo Smith of Class Publications in Hartford, Connecticut, and easily outdistanced TV's Alf for number 2 in the poster market. In New York, 22 Spuds MacKenzie boutiques opened in Macy's department stores, featuring some of the more than 200 items, from satin jackets to coffee mugs, licensed to bear the Spuds name and image. At the Museum of Contemporary Art gift shop in Los Angeles, inflatable plastic Spud toys, complete with "Beware of Party Dog" warnings, were on sale among other examples of modern folk art. Elsewhere, Spuds look-alike contests were popular, with both dogs and humans as contestants. A number of professional Spuds imposters, called Spudstitutes as the Budweiser team preferred to call them, had secured modeling gigs. One Spudstitute appeared on the cover of Detroit Monthly Magazine's Dog Days of Summer issue. Spud's popularity opened opportunities into films, playing a character in the movie Rented Lips with Martin Mull. She was also a guest on Late Night with David Letterman. The Spudettes, a trio of spandex-clad Los Angeles area actresses who appeared in the McKenzie commercials and posters, typically traveled with him. Spuds MacKenzie became a cult figure on college campuses and was a key element of Anheuser-Busch's national advertising. Less than a year after Spud's national TV debut, Strom Thurmond stood on the floor of the U.S. Senate chamber and waved a stuffed Spuds MacKenzie doll. He accused Anheuser-Busch of using the mascot to sell alcohol to underage drinkers, saying, "I'm not confident in the voluntary efforts of the alcohol beverage industry to increase public awareness of the hazards of alcohol abuse with 12-year-olds drinking wine coolers and wearing Spuds MacKenzie t-shirts." He made his case while standing in front of huge posters featuring the Ayatollah of Partiola himself, Spuds MacKenzie. A month later, Ohio stores pulled all of the Bud Light cartons that featured images of Spuds MacKenzie dressed up as Santa due to a law that prohibited St. Nick from being used to sell alcohol. Across the country, schools were banning students from wearing popular Spuds MacKenzie gear. In response to all this, Anheuser-Busch eventually switched to a $50 million Spuds MacKenzie campaign from Bud Light to a responsible drinking initiative. That is why Super Bowl XXIII's 15-second spot features Spuds MacKenzie playing guitar with no beer in sight, along with the tagline, "Know when to say when." 1 year prior, Super Bowl XXII featured an ad with MacKenzie winning an Olympic gold medal in hockey and sharing an ice-cold Bud Light with a gorgeous Russian woman. Spud's TV appearances became fewer and fewer as the decade neared its end. A real good campaign doesn't last much longer than 18 months. The ad agency reflects on the ad campaign life as the joke gets old. Budweiser retired him in 1989. Honey Tree Evil Eye died of kidney failure at the age of 10 in 1993. She had an average lifespan for a healthy English Bull Terrier. Her death was reported at the time with the headline, "Spuds MacKenzie, really dead this time." Thinking back to what they trained her on, raisin checks, it is safe to assume that the raisins would be her demise over the long haul. Long after the ads dried up, Spuds MacKenzie lives on in pop culture through references on The Simpsons and The Family Guy. In honor of its 30th anniversary, Spuds made an appearance during the Super Bowl 51, albeit a ghost, voiced by Carl Weathers, who is on a mission to teach a man about the spirit of Bud Light. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.